So I think it's difficult to remember at times, that being an understatement, that those of us with diagnoses, even though we felt ostracized a lot in our lives, we have to decide to spend our time with people who will respect the parameters of any mental or physical illness we have. It doesn't give us an excuse to go on autopilot. It just means we need to be conscious about who we surround ourselves with. I think the hardest thing as a comic, well, an open micer really, I don't get booked much, but I don't seek it much either, so is realizing that you might know that you've messed up a joke, but the audience doesn't necessarily know it either. And so that is a moment of personal approach to an inevitable anxiety. And in my opinion, we can still make our mistakes and go about things, but sometimes people don't notice unless we point out that we messed up. I don't know. I can't ever seem to quit cigarettes for an extended period of time, but I've learned over time that if I'm going to smoke, I should at least go outside and be in the sun, trick myself into taking a little bit better care. I try to find foods and stuff like that can trick me into eating well. Not over there, but in general. And it's the best thing, and it feels overwhelming to eat right. Something you can bomb your stomach with. I don't have no medical degree, but that seems to be the only way I can get that into my system, and it always makes me feel better and a little bit more alert and a little bit more connected to reality. My worst moments tend to be when I'm ungrounded, where I'm spinning out. And one of the things I've learned, both as someone with ADHD and PTSD, is that sensory things that you can't deny happening around you, things that remind you that you're in the present moment and not in 2012 or 2009 or 2017 or anything. Birds, thrift stores, things of different temperatures, baths and Rachmaninoff. There's a lot of great stuff and a lot of great strategies out there. Just look for them. Grounding techniques. That's why cigarettes are so popular. They're horrible. They worsen every single part of my life. I like to sing. That helps me ground in the moment. I can't sing as well when I smoke. But the reason why it's so popular, besides the nicotine, is it's an inherently meditative thing. So that proves the effectiveness of grounding techniques. About disclosing diagnosis you have is that if you do, then, and you set boundaries with people, not everyone will really understand it, because people only understand through the lens of their own perception. It's something Jim Carrey said. That's not my own line. But you will find out more about who's really willing to make that extra step to be respectful of your wishes. And it's frustrating because there's a lot of false starts, but it's worth it to be discerning about where and around whom you spend your energy. I've been in therapy since I was in elementary school in the 90s, and finding a therapist is important. Finding a therapist or some way to vent is important. But if you have the financial means to do so, finding one that you can click with helps even more. Finding someone with your own diagnoses will help in ways, because you'll be able to learn things about your condition from someone else who's lived with it. But not all therapy is good therapy. Some therapy is corporate. Some is out to make a profit. And you've got to make the call if you're being helped or if you're being strung along. And it's an important one to make. In regards to racing thoughts and those sorts of things, I think grounding techniques are very important, but I also think creating is very important, because we have all these emotions, we have all this energy, and a lot of times it's energy that we just feel like it's just destructive. But when you create something, be it art or music or writing or photography or whatever, then I mean there's something you have a little bit of control over in a world you don't have a lot of control over. Case in point.